So this is our extraction setup. We've got a tote that we've cut the top out of, and we've plumbed in 1.5 PVC. There's 4 of these down pipes here to which we connect a 1 foot length of PVC with 4 holes drilled in the bottom. It's capped, and then on these hooks we hang the rims of 5-gallon buckets that have 60 mesh or 250 micron nylon bags attached to them. And then we use this Sweetwater 1 horsepower pump and drive air down through here, so we're bubbling in each of the bags. And we also have this piece down here which is actually a T, and it also connects to the Sweetwater pump, so we're driving in. You can see it's got holes on the bottom, and then it attaches at the other end there. I'll show you that setup in a bit. And so we're roiling the water in the tote itself as well as in each of the bags. The bags look like this. They're just 5-gallon buckets with a metal clamping ring. And like I said, it's 60 mesh or 250 micron. And we fill the bags up maybe 2/3 full while we have one of these down pipes. You can see it's got 4 roughly 1/8-inch holes drilled in the bottom, and that gets attached to the PVC in the tote. And then we also use these lids that we've notched out, and they fit around the down pipe piece, and it just keeps material from bubbling out of the nylon mesh bag. I like to get it rolling pretty good so that we get good agitation in the bag. In our tote here we have, this is Johnson Sioux compost that we made. We started last year, and it went through the winter in the bottom of a barn with straw bales around it and a small heater and watering system. And if you take a look at this, you know, they say that it should have sort of a putty consistency, and it really does. Now we've got a lot of bark mulch in there still. We put that in there for fungal growth, but also for aeration. This is our blower rig. It sits on top of the tote once we get our buckets in place. That's a Sweetwater air pump there, and then it has 2 unions where air gets hooked to. One goes to the runner system for the bags, and the other goes to that pipe that runs horizontally along the bottom of the tank. Then in terms of filtering, we're just using a trash pump. I think it's about maybe 160 horsepower or 160 gallons per minute, and we're sending it through a cyclone filter to remove sand. The discharge from that, we've just got a regular garden hose plumbed back up into the tank. And from there it goes to a cartridge filter that has a cleaning mechanism on it. You see here it's got a crank on the top, and when I turn the crank, these nozzles, which are, once this filter gets in place, are inside the filter, will clean it out. So basically, okay, this is all together. We've got the cartridge or the filter body on there, and the ball valve on the bottom, and you open up the ball valve on the bottom, and then you rotate the crank on the top, and that cleans the screen and flushes it out. And then you rotate it all the way down and then back up again, flushes it out, and then close the ball valve, and you should be good to go. You know, you have to do that when this pop-up valve right here pops up. It's time to clean. Now the issue that we had with this is actually an 80 mesh screen, and even with this screen, we have enough fine sediment in there that it will plug this screen very quickly, and there's enough force from the Honda trash pump that it deforms these screen sections inward, and it pushes them inward enough that it actually rubs on the tips of these cleaning nozzles to the degree that you can't even rotate the crank. So we tried running a 120 mesh screen inside there, and it deformed the screen inward so much that we ended up tearing that screen. We tried the 80 mesh, and again, it was sticking badly. So now what I've done is I've taken, this was the 120 mesh screen, and I've actually, it has a larger, I'm approximating this at maybe a 30 mesh screen on the outside, but on the inside it had the 120 mesh, and that's the screen got torn. I've cut that out completely, so now we're just running this 30 mesh, and I'm confident that that is not going to plug. We're also, instead of pulling off the bottom of the tank when we pump the tank out and filter it, we're actually putting a 2-inch line into the top of the tank and pulling off the extract from the top of the tank rather than taking it off the valve on the bottom, so that we don't get as much sediment. So that's our setup, and I may show you our corn planter, what we've done with that, but basically we're just running 2 100-gallon tanks with, I'm approximating them at maybe 1/8-inch drip lines, just straight in the furrow. And then, of course, we've got a water pump and a flow regulator, which, like I said, I'll try and include that in another video. So we've got the blower going now. There's quite a bit of agitation in the tank itself. And then within the buckets, you can also see it's roiling pretty good.